Hello there everyone, my name is Chris, I am the Man Collects. Thank you for taking your time to watch this video here on YouTube. If you end up enjoying it, do me a favor and hit that like button. Also, if it's your first time or you've come back and you just haven't subscribed, consider clicking subscribe to the channel to see what comes down the pipe. Turn on your bell for notifications. Follow me on Instagram, all that wonderful stuff that us YouTubers say. Now, all that's out of the way, gotta say, I am very excited about this review. This is a line from McFarlane, his Marvel pose statues, pose figures, whatever you want to call them, that I have been excited about since they started. I think a lot of them look great. Some of the ones have been kind of iffy here or there, but I have fought the urge to buy one of these. I finally gave in with this one. No, we do have the black suit Spider-Man based on the first appearance of that costume from Secret Wars #8, a comic series from back in the 80s. This thing is $49.97 at Walmart. It's right around 50 bucks wherever you find it, GameStops or something like that. Some retailers have them higher than retail, but regular retail price is around $49.97. They're out now. They're showing up in Walmart, showing up in Targets. I think GameStop's getting them. So any place you like to get your McFarlane stuff, check there. Hope you can track one down. But let's get the camera repositioned. Let's take an overhead look at the packaging and everything on this. Then we're going to break Spider-Man out and take a look with our handy cam. What I call my handy cam is my iPhone mounted to this little tripod here. And we'll take a closer look at the statue. But let's get him opened up now. Let's get him turned around here and let's take a look at it. And here we go, everyone. Now, I've had to kind of raise my camera a little bit higher than usual. This is a bigger box I'm used to looking to here during the reviews. Let's take a look at this. We'll get the light glare and stuff off of it there in a second. But we're going to look at our packaging first before we tear this thing open. You can see our figure or pose figure, statue, whatever on the inside there. You got some cell shading going on, but we'll check that out more in a minute once we get him out of the packaging. As far as your packaging, it is your standard stuff you see on the McFarlane pose figures, the larger scale Marvels. Again, these are around $50 US. As far as regular retail, there's your look on the front. Your look on the side will show you the comic panel that it is based off of. And again, Secret Wars #8 was the first appearance of the black suit Spider-Man, the Symbiote Spider-Man costume. His costume got destroyed during battle in the Secret Wars storyline. I think it was Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, that used some kind of alien machine on Battleworld where they were to create Spider-Man's alien costume. And that's where it kind of came from as far as the symbiote costume for Spider-Man. There's the other side. You got your window, your character labeling, and then all your branding there on it. The top of the box got a window and the Marvel logo. I could turn it around where you can read it the right way. And then the bottom of the box has got the barcode, legalese, and all that kind of stuff on there. I'll leave the barcode there for a second in case you need to pause the screen to get you a picture of that. Try to track it down at your local stores. But let's crack this open. I'm excited to open it up. Have not opened one of these. I think it might have like a comic or something in there, or a reprint of that comic. I don't know. But let's get the cutting utensils out. Let's get this thing out of the package and let's take a look at it. Before we get into taking a look at the Spider-Man pose figure, statue, whatever you want to call it, let's take a look at what comes in the box. Now, one thing before we take a look at the comic and the card here that I do like once you take the inside of the box apart, you get this little insert that slides out with it. That would make a cool backdrop if you wanted to keep that on the shelf without having to keep the entire box. Again, I love the old Secret Wars storyline from the 80s. Love all the throwbacks and everything on the packaging of this pose figure statue. I won't call it a pose figure. We're not going to call it a statue. Pose figure. Now, for those of you who do not know where the symbiote suit came from in the Spider-Man storyline, during the Secret Wars miniseries back in the 80s, Spider-Man's red and blue costume became damaged in battle. And I think it was Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, if I'm not for sure or mistaken, that used an alien machine to create the symbiote costume for Spider-Man. Of course, this goes on to create Venom, start Carnage, all the stuff with the symbiotes in the Spider-Verse. So really an iconic issue in the history of Spider-Man here, Secret Wars #8. Now, this is not the actual book, of course. This is a reprint that does come with the figure. So let's take a look at this and see what it looks like getting it out of the package. And one thing I like about this, for those of you who are not familiar with this, it gives you a chance to go back and be able to read a reprint of this comic to see where the thing came from and kind of get a feel for comics back in the 80s. Look at that art and everything on that, guys. This is awesome. I am looking forward to reading this. I have not read any of the Secret Wars stuff in years, but look at the art back there. Now, back in the day, you didn't have these glossy pages. They were actually paper pages, and they would fade after a while, and they had this awesome old inky odor to them. It was awesome. But again, let's see if we can get back here. There he is, still in the red and blue. Where is it? Come on. Get him in the costume. Come on. There you go. You can see there where his costume got damaged. Here you go. You got the machine where it's coming out. It is Reed Richards. There he is repairing that. And then there you go. The last panel of the book. He gets the symbiote there. You can see it start taking over his hand here at the bottom corner when he gets it out of the machine. There you go. Your Symbiote Spider-Man is born. It's got some more advertising in the back there for some more of the Pose figures in this wave. But again, I think this is a very cool feature that comes with these. I'm assuming all of the 1/6 scale come with them. I don't know about the smaller scale McFarlane statues. But not only do you get that, everything McFarlane, I'm not going to take this out of the plastic. You do get a trading card with it. Again, it's the cover of Secret Wars 8. And then the back side of it there is just got a little bit of information about it, inspired by Secret Wars issue number 8. The release date was December of 1984. I was 3.5 years old when this comic series came out. So once again, guys, you got some cool accessories with the figure. Now let's turn around to my handheld camera and let's take a look at the posed figure for Spider-Man. Here we go, folks. I am using my handheld iPhone. If I'll try to keep it as steady as I can, if it does move a little bit, hopefully I don't give you motion sickness. But let's take a look at Spidey. Guys, as far as my first impression of this, I think it looks great. I'm going to go ahead and give my recommendations now. Would I recommend this? If you're a fan of Spider-Man, if you're a fan of the symbiote costume, and also a fan of the old Secret Wars storyline, then yes, I would recommend this figure. I think it looks great. I think as far as representing what you see on the cover there, I think it's very accurate to that. As far as the cell shading, people crap on McFarlane's cell shading, but if you look at the cell shading here, he has done on the figure from top to bottom, and then look back here what it's based off of as this comic, I think it's very accurate to what it shows there on the front of the book. It may not be as dark of a black and also not as bright of a blue, but still it's represented well the way it was drawn on the book there on this figure. Looking at the paint apps, let's take a look at that first before getting anything else. You can look around the eyes. It looks like smooth lines. I don't really see a lot of issues or flaws with the paint apps. You got a little bit there around the top of that one, but to me, it's not enough to really make much of a difference on it. We'll take a look at his chest printing there. The symbol, you see a little bit of a crease there in that one. And there's a little bit, I don't know if you can really tell, maybe a rough spot in the plastic right in the center of the spider there. I can't really catch it on camera, but I can see it with my naked eye a little bit there, right in that part of the spider. You see like maybe a little dot right there. I don't know if you can tell it or not. Again, if it's that small, it's not that bad. You got another little smudge right there. I could have done that taking the thing out of the case. I don't know. Let's take a look at the back here. And there you go. You got one little knock right there on his top shoulder. He's got a hair or something stuck on it. I have to get off of that. That's gross. And then you can see the rest of it there. Not that bad. One little spot there. Again, a couple little nicks, but not anything too bad. Not enough to me to say don't buy the figure because of it. That's a little piece of plastic on him. Okay. The only thing I will say that's kind of getting to me, you can see the little shiny spots there. He's got a couple little nicks in some places on him on the figure. You can see one right here. You can see some especially right there on the shoulder blade. And then the most noticeable one right there you can see on his shoulder, right in here is what I'm talking about. That can probably be taken off. Maybe if I take like an alcohol pad or something and wipe him down to get it off there. Right there you can see another one up on this one. I don't really know what that is, to be quite honest with you. It was like that when I got it out of the packaging. But once again, it's little cosmetic stuff. It's not anything to me that's a deal breaker. The white spots on the back of his hands, again, looking at the paint apps, those don't look too bad. Maybe a little bit of flaws there, but not much. And then the other hand, there you go. You can see that. But let's take a look at the entire figure with the cell shading. You can see it there on the head. Again, I don't think the cell shading is that bad on this. And once again, if you're looking at your source material here, which is the comic cover, I think he did it accurate to that. I say he, the team at McFarlane Toys. Todd doesn't make all these things himself personally, but it's easy to associate everything with him. And that's the front side of him. Let's take a look at his back side. There's your spider booty happening. And then you got here. Now, one thing you can visibly see right there around the thighs and the bottom of his butt, and then right there on the lower part is tramp stamp. And then up here on his neck, you can see the lines where they have put the pieces together. I mean, look, guys, for a $50 statue, I didn't expect it to be smooth. Now, if I would have paid a couple $100 for this thing, I would expect not to see these lines where they attach the pieces to it. But of course, you're going to be able to see it on this one. This is not really super high end. He doesn't even call these statues, I don't think. He calls them posed figures. So again, you're going to see the joints where they go. Now, as far as articulated, you cannot turn the head or anything like that. So don't think because you see that it's on a head peg, it will not move. But once again, you can see there the back and the arms. And I think the cell shading was well done on it as far as what it's supposed to represent, once again, with the cover of the comic book. Down here, the lower part of his legs, you can see that. I don't see any of that little shiny stuff, or I guess imperfections down here on the legs of the statue or pose figure, whatever. It's mostly just up there on the upper part of the upper body. One thing I do really like the base. I think the base is well done. The colors kind of pop on it. You got a lot of Easter eggs and homage down here to other characters. I also like amid the chaos, there comes a costume. And that's the little caption there on the bottom of the comic cover. Even matched the orange coloring to the back of the orange coloring on the book. That's pretty sweet. But down here, he's standing on Cap's broken shield. If you read the Secret Wars storyline, you know Cap's shield gets busted during that. You got a piece of Thor's helmet in here, some of Doc Ock's tentacle in there, Iron Man's faceplate. If you turn it around to the back side here, you can see Mjolnir, Thor's hammer laying there. I don't know what that's supposed to be. I'm thinking maybe Hawkeye. It's supposed to be part of his bow, but the hand's awfully big. But I don't know. Well, I'm assuming that's supposed to be an homage to Hawkeye with the bow and arrow there, but some of the classic characters that was involved in Secret Wars. And you can see most of them are there on that cover. You got Hawkeye running around over here. You got Thor there, Captain America there. So once again, some pretty good little homage to the other heroes there in the base. But once again, guys, I'm happy with this thing. Am I going to go all in on this line? No, I am not. Now, if he gives us a classic Punisher or something like that, a cool black and white skull and all that on it, I may go with that one. But I think this is a solid entry. You put this on a shelf somewhere, it's going to catch the eye of people as they walk in, especially if they're Spider-Man fans. So as far as recommending it, it's whatever fits your budget. I would recommend it. I think it's nice for $50. I don't feel like I got completely ripped off, but they probably could be a little bit cheaper in hindsight, but what couldn't nowadays? But that's going to wrap up the review, guys. Hope you did enjoy this closer look at the Spider-Man pose figure from McFarlane Toys. Oh, let's see how tall he is. I wanted to show that. I do have a tape measure here, so let's stick it on the base of my desk and go up. So he's right about with the splines on his head. He might get close to 11 inches, but the top of his head is about 10, maybe 10 1/4 inches there tall, as far as going from the base all the way up to the top of his head, and then again to the top of his spine, just right around 11 inches. So not a bad size for him, I guess, for the price point, especially based on price of things again nowadays. But once again, guys, going to wrap it up. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel, turn on your bell for notifications, and I will see you the next time the man decides to review.